Hi, this is Alex from devstories.eu, Microsoft Copilot Studio, Episode 7 of 15. Standard keyword search breaks down the moment a user asks a nuanced question about an internal policy. You do not need better keywords. You need a system that understands the actual meaning of the question across massive data sets. That is exactly where Tenant Graph Grounding comes in. Tenant Graph Grounding brings deep semantic understanding directly to your enterprise data. First, let us clear up a common misconception. This is not standard Dataverse search, and it has nothing to do with scraping public websites. This is an advanced enterprise retrieval capability that plugs your Copilot straight into Microsoft Graph. It is built specifically to handle complex internal knowledge stored across your tenant. To use this feature, your environment must meet a few hard requirements. You need a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. Your data needs to be indexed by the Semantic Index for Copilot. Most crucially, your Copilot must be configured with Entra ID authentication. This is not optional. The Copilot must securely pass the identity of the person asking the question to Microsoft Graph. Consider an internal HR Copilot designed to search massive employee handbooks. These handbooks often live in SharePoint or OneDrive as massive documents. Standard retrieval tools often choke on large files, but Tenant Graph Grounding supports file sizes up to 512 megabytes. When an employee asks about a highly specific scenario, like the parental leave policy for a secondary caregiver working part-time, a traditional search engine looks for those exact words. If the handbook uses different phrasing, the search fails. Here is the key insight. Because this feature uses the semantic index, it maps the conceptual relationships between the user query and the enterprise data. It understands that the query about parental leave maps conceptually to a section titled Family Time Off, even if the keywords do not align perfectly. The logic flow operates entirely within your secure tenant boundary. A user submits a prompt to the Copilot. The Copilot uses the Entra ID token of that specific user to query Microsoft Graph. Microsoft Graph then searches the semantic index, but it only looks at files that the specific user already has permission to read. If a document is restricted, the Graph simply ignores it for that user. The Graph retrieves the highly relevant semantic matches and returns them to the Copilot. The Copilot then uses those exact data chunks to generate a precise, grounded answer. The entire transaction happens with near instant precision, bypassing the latency and inaccuracy of trying to build your own custom search indexes over SharePoint data. Tenant Graph Grounding shifts the entire retrieval burden from your custom logic directly onto the Microsoft 365 semantic infrastructure, guaranteeing that your Copilot respects existing enterprise data boundaries while delivering unmatched contextual accuracy. If you want to help support the show, you can find DevStories EU on Patreon. That's all for this one. Thanks for listening and keep building.